Genesis 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had not given birth to any children, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "Since the Lord has prevented me from having children, please sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have a family by her." Abram did what Sarai told him. So after Abram had lived in Canaan for 10 years, Sarai, Abram's wife, gave Hagar, her Egyptian servant, to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar, and she became pregnant. Once Hagar realized she was pregnant, she despised Sarai. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You have brought this wrong on me. I gave you my servant into your embrace, but when she realized that she was pregnant, she despised me. May the Lord judge between me and you." Abram said to Sarai, "Since your servant is under your authority, do to her whatever you think best." Then Sarai treated Hagar harshly, and she ran away from Sarai. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring of water in the wilderness, the spring that is along the road to Shur. He said, "Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?" She replied, "I'm running away from my mistress Sarai." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit to her authority. I will greatly multiply your descendants." The angel of the Lord added, "So that they will be too numerous to count." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "You are now pregnant and about to give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your painful groanings. He will be a wild donkey of a man. He will be hostile to everyone, and everyone will be hostile to him. He will live away from his brothers." So Hagar named the Lord who spoke to her, "You are the God who sees me." For she said, "Here I have seen one who sees me." That is why the well was called Bir Lohai Roy. It is located between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar gave birth to Abram's son, whom Abram named Ishmael. Now Abram was 86 years old when Hagar gave birth to Ishmael. Bum, bum, bum. Do I have I'm just making sure we didn't go any further. Yeah. So we have 17 then starting, and would have been verse 17. So, okay. So this is one of those interesting things of what is going on. So Sarai thinks, hey, maybe God promised to you doesn't include me. We've been trying for 10 years. And I'm barren. Now, we have the mention, as soon as Sarai comes into the picture, that she's barren. How would you know that she is barren? Like, is it because of trial and error that you know that she's barren, but she is introduced as being barren? So there is some thought that perhaps there was something about her prior to being married that is known for her to be barren. Maybe she never menstruated. And if you never menstruate, then you would not be able to have kids. Maybe there was an incident and she had been attacked by some animal and, her womb is damaged. And there's the natural understanding. And maybe that's why Abram takes her as a wife to be his wife, because she's never going to be able to have children. In order to protect her and to care for her, he takes her as a wife. There is some of that thought. It's extra biblical thought, and there's no proof of it. But there's that thought of this is the kind of righteous man that Abram is. He cares for people who are not going to have anyone else care for them. So when Sarai comes with a plan, Abram is inclined to go along with the plan of his wife. He could have said, no, God has promised me this. He could have said, I should go inquire of God. Maybe that's what he's supposed to do. He doesn't choose to. He just goes along with the plan. I think he should have inquired of God. He doesn't. Sometimes my wife sounds like it's wisdom and I go along with it. Sometimes what I say, she thinks is wisdom and goes along with it. Sometimes we should inquire of God and we don't think we need to because it seems like a small thing. This is a big thing though. It's a promise. So maybe they should have. Turns out that what happens is Hagar, now having been blessed by having a child from the one that God blesses and probably being around since they went down to Egypt, the going down to Egypt has become a thorn in the side. So that has become a thorn in the side here. So Hagar gets treated poorly. Here also, Abram could have stepped in and said, okay, this is a problem. I'm going to change the circumstance and situation. Instead, he says, Sarai, sure, your servant, you do what you want with her. So again, a misstep, it appears, that he could have done something. So, but he also says, like, she also puts the threat, like, this is a problem between you and me. So that's why I think he says, well, then you handle it. Instead of, I'm not going to do it and you don't like what I do and I'm still going to be in a bad position with you, you go do this. So she treats her harshly and she runs away. The angel found her near a spring of water, the spring of Shur. I thought there was, let me go read this in another text. The boy was a arrow's throw away. I thought it said here. What do we have here? A messenger of the Lord. Okay. I felt there was something else that was in there. Okay. We are in Genesis 16. The angel of the Lord found her near the spring in the desert, the spring beside the road to Shur. Hagar, slave of Sarai, what have you had? You're going, running from there. Okay. Maybe it's later. It's later. Okay. I am jumping ahead here. So here this time she is at a spring, and I'm thinking of an event later on. Okay, I'm mixing up a couple events. Yeah, that's the next time when she's kicked out and the boy isn't both. Yeah, I'm jumping ahead. One reason, yeah. So this is just pregnancy, and she runs away. Okay. Picasso, while it was Sarah's original unfaithfulness, Abram ultimately is the one who acted. Oh, yes. But here also, we get the angel of the Lord who makes a promise to her as well. So if we have that Abram is the conduit for blessing, if we have Abram is the conduit for blessing, here then passes from the conduit of blessing through Abram, all the earth will be blessed. The conduit pours out to Hagar to Ishmael. Yes, and so she returns and then Ishmael's born. Yeah, I'm thinking of the second time when she is sent away. What's interesting, though, is like we don't think like some of these things don't sound like blessings to me. They don't sound like blessings to a lot of people, but they still are seen to be a blessing. He will be a wild donkey of a man. He will be hostile to everyone, and everyone will be hostile to him. But he's going to be called Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your painful groans. So you have been mistreated. The foreigner living among them, now going to become, when she gets sent away, a widow, in a sense. Poor, widow, orphan, foreigner, all wrapped up in Ishmael and Hagar, as the story goes on. In the end, all wrapped up in Ishmael and Hagar. The name Ishmael consists of the imperfect and jussive form of the Hebrew verb for the theophoric element added as the subject. It means God hears or may God hear. So it's either a statement that God has in fact heard, or it's a plea for God to hear. So Ishmael, God hears, or may God hear, depending on how you are implying it. So he is going to be named that because God has heard. So may God hear, God has indeed heard. God hears, he has indeed heard your painful groans. But your son's going to be a donkey, and he's going to be hostile to everybody. Everyone's going to be hostile to him. He will live away from his brothers. he's not going to be under the household of the Behor of Abram. He is going to be away from that. So she returns because an angel visited her. That's just a fascinating thing. So we have God showing up to Abram now because we don't have it in the Pharaoh story there, do we? That God showed up. We don't know how God showed up there, but we do have a show up here to Hagar. And so he is named Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar gave birth. So we're just getting a time frame there. Picasso. This is an act contrary to faith in the promise, but Abram is redeemed when he is about to kill his son. Yes, the beginning of many nations. Yes, he is going to be the father of many nations. This is the beginning of that. Struzy. Like my girlfriend and I headed to Final Fantasy Fest and also want to go to XP Church 10-year in Seattle. Oh, I did not know about the XP Church 10-year in Seattle. Yet you're struggling being patient, waiting for to get her real ID, LOL. Yeah, I got horses taking a cart way too fast. Wow, I'm going to have to check into when is Struzy Live is XP Church's 10-year in Seattle. Picasso, remember Moses lived with the descendants of Ishmael and I believe Lot when he retreats from Egypt. Lot is going to be Moab. I don't remember this. I always remember Moab. I can never remember the second kingdom from Lot. These people who still worship the true God. Well, there are remnants or there are people among them who seem to worship the true God, but not all of them do. They often are worshiping others. Supposed to be in the beginning of March. There's info for. Okay. Yeah, I won't be able to go then if it's at March. I have Orlando plans in March, so I'll just have to check into it. It's one of those places where I support, but I don't hang out there very often. Got locked up in fixing some typos. Oh, no. All right, we got ads coming in. Any last thoughts here on Hagar and Ishmael? You know what we can quick do? Go look up what does Hagar mean. What are we in? Genesis 16. So we usually do go look up what do the names of women mean. We look up lots of names, but usually if a woman shows up, we go look up the name for that. She may have also had a different name that was Egyptian. If this is not, yeah, perhaps a foreign derivation. Okay, so Hagar means flight. So she is in flight from Sarai, and she will be in flight again from the household of Sarai. So she is constantly in flight, would be some of it. I think it is guessed. Not sure what you're referring to, Artsy. All right, we got ads coming.